Alright, welcome back to cooking my way through half a cow. Now in this week's episode, I'm going to be cooking the minute steak or barbecue steak out of that 1/8 box. I'm going to be stripping it up and then doing it into a little wrap like a tortilla. Instead of using mince, something a little bit different, I'll use that barbecue steak stripped up nice and thin. Okay, so straight out of the gate, when you use the farm to fridge platform, you're onto a win. The topside steak or the barbecue steak, it comes pre-sliced, so all you have to do is strip it up into your desired size stir-fry strips, which is amazing. It doesn't mean you have to get it out as a whole roast and then slice it. It's ready to go and strip up. Now, a little handy hint you'll see butchers and chefs do a lot is cut your strips and then stack them on top of each other. If you get 4 to 6 of these stacked and then you start to cut your stir-fry strips, it's going to make the job a whole lot more efficient, a whole lot faster, and it's overall a lot easier. Now I'm just going to throw all my strips into a mixing bowl and I'm going to add a dry rub. By all means you can add in a marinade, but personally I like the dry rubs. I think they go well. You add a bit of olive oil, it makes its own little marinade, and there's lots of flavour in those and heaps different ones to choose from on the market. And if you do, for whatever reason, plan this ahead, it's always a good idea to mix this up early, and then you can just leave it sit on the bench for about half an hour before you actually cook it, allow it to warm up to room temperature, or pop it in the fridge, let that flavour really infuse into the meat before you cook it that night. So something that a lot of people are going to say is an absolute must, and then some that are going to say the opposite is having your pan preheated and hot before you put the meat in there. Personally, I like to do it if I want to keep my steak really rare and it's thin, because it'll allow that outside to caramelise and crust without overcooking the inside. Alright, now we're up to the fun part of dressing our wrap. Now this is going to be completely up to the individual. I've gone nice and simple here. I've got sour cream, I've got the cheese, the meat obviously, and I'm using a bit of leftover salad from last night's dinner, just purely because obviously I didn't want to have to make a new salad, and waste not, want not. This is a really easy one, guys. It's one of those meals that you can just throw together for lunch if you want a nice quick meal. Otherwise, you can do it for dinner, and it's one of those meals that your kids are going to definitely throw the laughing gear around. They're going to love it. Might be a little bit messy, but at the end of the day, it's going to get them to eat, and it's an easy meal for mum and dad to cook at the end of the day after a long, hard day of work.